Welcome to She Lancer, Mom Entrepreneur with VoiceOver Angela. I'm your host, Angela. I'm a full-time voiceover artist and audiobook narrator, and this podcast are the audio versions of my live Q&A chats on YouTube. If you'd like to be part of the live Q&A chats, come on over to my YouTube channel, VoiceOver Angela. I'm live every Tuesday at 12 p.m. EST. We talk about voiceover, the business of voiceover, audiobooks, and so much more. Find more information on my website, voiceoverangela.com. Enjoy today's episode. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, wherever you are. Thank you for joining me again for the live Q&A session here on my channel. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Angela. I am a full-time voiceover artist and audiobook narrator, and my channel is dedicated to those of you just getting started in this wonderful world of voiceover and audiobook narration. And through my channel, I share with you tips, tricks, techniques, things that I do every day in my own voiceover business. And then we get together in these weekly chats to have a discussion about a topic or two. Today's topic came from one of my mentees last week about work-life balance, working from home. So I wanted to share what I have done. And then also, as always, we have everyone in the chat who are also voice artists and audiobook narrators of all experience levels, sharing their tips as well, because it's not just what I think, right? Something that works for me might not work for you, but someone else in the chat might have a solution to your problem. So I facilitate these weekly chats so we can get together and talk about these things and hopefully help somebody out there with a solution to their problem. So if you're not new here, then you know every week we have that poll, and that is the topic for today. So in the poll, the question was, which do you struggle with the most in terms of building this voiceover business? And it looks like 13 votes so far. If you haven't casted your vote, go ahead and do that now. 31% of you said managing work schedules. That could be a challenge. It was for me anyway. 8% of you said keeping track of clients. Okay. 54% of you said work-life balance. That's usually the hot button, right? 12% of you said managing income and expenses. Okay, so that really gives me an idea of how to or where to direct the conversation today, if at all possible. We usually get off the rails a little bit, but that's okay. Got a lot of votes coming in, but it's about the same. So the major hot buttons are work-life balance and managing work schedules. Okay. I think what it comes down to is what hours do I work and how do I get, well, the question last week from my mentee was like, how do I get my family to understand when I'm working from home that I'm actually working and that I'm not, like, I can't just have company whenever if I'm working, or I'm not as available as you think I am because I'm working. And I think with the rise of home remote work kind of positions has really sort of, squashed that issue, I think, a little bit. But what I did when I first went full-time over 5 years ago now is that I gave myself business hours. I gave myself business hours. I'm available from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday for clients, and I can make that flexible if I want to. And that goes for mentees and things like that. That way, everybody around me knows, including clients and stuff, that I am available during those hours for them. Anything before and after that is dedicated to my family. And of course, I can be flexible because I can set my own schedule. So if I have to work and do a few things over the weekend, I can. But that allows me time to get my son to school, pick him up, maybe go see a movie, have dinner, and be present. And that was really the basis of my why, was to be more present for my son, right? It was to be home for him and be a present parent. So now that I can do that, all of the other working hours are dedicated towards clients, and then my off hours are dedicated towards my family. And that really helped with creating that work-life balance. And if I need to take a couple of days off, then I can take a couple of days off, as long as I have, enough of a heads up to get everything done. Managing work schedules is what has really helped me in that arena is the agenda book that I have, or the calendar, right? And I put the link to one of those, the exact same one that I use, in the description of this video. But basically, it's a day-to-day planner, a week planner, month, right? So I can write down what I need to do every day in that slot. So if I have a meeting with a client, if I have a meeting with a mentee, if I have a Zoom meeting with my group, I can write down any to-dos. Like if I'm in the middle of an audiobook, I can write down, narrate chapters 1 through 3, and then the next day edit chapters 1 through 3, or however I need to balance things out. But they're pretty good sized slots to write down information. And then the best part of that, because I am old school, I like the old pen and paper, is that I can cross through things when they're done. It's so liberating, just those small little things, getting stuff done, marking it off. I feel like I'm going off on a tangent. But that's essentially what I do. It is tough, and especially in the beginning when you're just starting your new work schedules and you're just starting working from home, there's going to be an adjustment period for everyone around you to understand that, yes, you are home and technically available. However, you're allotting that time to get this business off the ground, or to continue growing your business. And even when you're not recording audiobooks or recording voiceovers, there is, during that time, you need to allow yourself the time, the opportunity. You need to stay busy, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. So even when you're not actively working on voiceover or an audiobook, you can spend those work hours focusing on building your website, revising your demos, doing the research to email, like direct marketing clients, things like that. So you can stay busy during those hours, knowing that you'll have time later for family or to catch up or whatever it is that you need to do. All right, so let's get into the comments. And if you have tips for other people watching for, working from home and trying to balance out the voiceover work with, actually, there was one other thing I wanted to show you. I just remembered. Balancing out the workload and managing clients. If you have tips on any of these things, then please share them in the comments. But the other thing that I wanted to show you, there is a tool out there that will help you to keep track of clients, to keep track of income and expenses and all of those things. It's, hang on a second. Here it is. Sorry, there we go. It's Voice Overview. It's actually created by voice artists for voice artists. And it is a CRM. So this way you don't have to build your own spreadsheets to keep track of everything. This is not a paid promotion. I've used it in the past, but then have created my own way of doing things. But this was a really great way to get started if you don't want to build out your own spreadsheets to keep track of everything. But they do have invoicing. You can see where, like with their pie charts and things, you can see where most of your business is coming from. You can keep track of how much money you've made. It looks like they've revised it quite a bit since the last time that I've used it. And they've got a lot more features than they did before. So definitely check it out. It's been around for a while. I've used it myself. I don't currently use it, but I have in the past. For as long or as far as pricing, oh, here it is. They do give you a 30-day free trial, and then it is looks like $11.99 a month, or you could do the yearly annual plan for $115 a year and save some money. But it looks like they even give you reminders and things now. So that's awesome. Sweet. So I thought I would share that with you in case you didn't know it was there. But let's get over to the comments and see what other tips and advice that our working voice artists and audiobook narrators can offer us. Let's see who is in first. Actually, let me take this banner off the screen. There we go. Okay, first in I think was Caesar. Yep. Hey, Caesar. Oh, hi, Angela. I have an excellent calendar and I have all my points in place and my ducks in a row, but I get a lot of work coming in on the fly and it's difficult to divide studio time. Well, you have a lot on your plate, Caesar. You do a very a broad range. You have a broad range of services that you offer. So I could see in your place that would be difficult to keep track of. You would probably have to create your own specialized spreadsheet for that, to be honest. Matter of fact, how do you keep track of all of those things? Please share that, because you do have, as you said in the next comment, a very diverse stream of income. Splitting time between recording and engineering is challenging based on ideal recording times and ideal times to interface with clients. Not to mention that you're probably in a very different time zone than the majority of your clients, and that would also make things difficult. I've made investments to improve room tone and noise floor, and I can record day or night, but now I have to figure out sleep and personal time in the mix. All that will optimize over time. Be careful of burnout, though, Caesar. That said, hello, everyone. I don't have anything clever to say, so I hope everyone has a great day. Don't forget that you're valuable and that you matter. Drink a lot of water. Don't snort the hot sauce. Tips to live by. The more you know, right? Glowen is here. Top of the day to you all. Scheduling my work time is the main issue with VO. Full-time job is the problem. Scheduling time to do this when I'm exhausted from work is tough. Yeah, especially if you have a very physical job. If you're employed by someone else and you're doing voiceover audiobooks part-time, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough to squeeze in voiceover recording or editing when you're already exhausted, especially when you're recording, because that, lack of energy is going to come through in your voiceovers for sure. I can relate. That's where the acting really comes in. And then your voice just sounds tired. Much like mine is now. I'm not awake yet. I haven't done any recording yet today, so I'm still warming up. Caesar says, incidentally, Dwight runs management productivity classes. Yes, he does. Dwight is in our Platinum group, and he is, or was actually a guest on my show here in January, I believe. It was one of the first lives we did this year. So if you go back and look for that one, he's got some great tips on productivity and organization. As a voice actor himself, he knows best. He is doing live training for my Platinum group as well right now. And currently they're on module 4. That's awesome. And he's working on a course too. Glowen says, that all said, hope you're all having a great day. Your coffee is hot, which has risen in price by more than 35% in 3 weeks. And you brought a stack. Yep. Coffee, unfortunately, is a necessity. No matter the price. Glowen says to Caesar, I was at work by 7, got home a little after 8. That's a long day. That's a long day. Had to find food, then passed out in my chair trying to look for scripts. That's a solid day, yep. Incidentally, we need to find time to sit down and optimize your process. Get that golden voice of yours to golden. Rustic Hillbilly says, morning all. Morning, Rustic Hillbilly. Good to see ya. Sean is here. Good morning. Yes, Caesar, apparently you say yowza. I'm going to start using that, though. I'm going to start using that every day. I think we all should. That's the word of the day. Yowza. Happy and Joyful says hello from Sunshine State, Florida. Hello to you. Old Dog New Trick says hello. Hope everyone is doing well today. Sean says, Caesar, I do. Just depends on how hot she is. Excuse me. PG-13, y'all. Glowen says, QQ. For those of you that are seeing success in this business, are many of you doing this full-time now versus a regular job? If so, how many hours a week do you spend in VO? I think you guys all know that I do this full-time. I've been doing this full-time for a little over 5 years now. And celebrated my 5-year anniversary in March. It's a little over 5 years now. Again, I allow myself business hours, 9 to 5, Monday through Friday. How much of that is recording is going to vary from day to day, depending on what's on the agenda. I could have, one audiobook. I could have 5 audiobooks. I could have no audiobooks. I could have a lot of recording to do or a lot of editing to do. As some of you know, I put all of my gear to work and also use my knowledge of editing to also edit podcasts. I'm also going to start broadening that into video editing as well. Why not? You have the skills and knowledge to do it. Why not do it? So that said, it just depends on what's on the agenda for the day. So it could be, if my workload is really heavy, then maybe I will record for, maybe 6 hours out of that time chunk. Maybe it's just an hour or two, and then I can, take the rest of the day off. It varies from day to day. But as I said before, if I'm not actively editing or recording, then I'm still using that work time to work on my website I've also been revamping and creating some new courses for my website. So I'm staying busy no matter what it is during that time in the work hours. I'm staying busy. So it's still work. A lot of back-end admin stuff. But if anybody else has anything else to add, how many hours do you spend a week recording VO or working in the office? Everybody else chime in. Pamela says, howdy. Howdy to you, Pamela. Alicia's here. Hello. Strange Storm Cat says, hi, Angela and all. Yes, Caesar, I still say yowza and yikes. I love it. I say yikes, but I need to incorporate more yowza. We all need more yowza in our life. Caesar says to Glowen, I'm full-time, and because I split time between engineering and recording, so right now I'm typically at around 13, 14 work hours. Is that per week or per day, Caesar? I would imagine for you that's probably per day. Yowza. Ken says, someday I hope to have VO work. That will be my retirement job then. You will have VO work. You just have to go out and get it, right? You get that mindset switched over to the little more positive side, Ken. Janelle is here. Hi, Janelle. Good to see you. I'm always overthinking always overthinking the best way to manage my expenses. I use PayPal and QuickBooks in conjunction. They integrate seamlessly. So I have my QuickBooks has my business checking account running to it and my PayPal business account running to it. So everything that comes in and then everything goes out is coming in or out of one of those two accounts, and everything gets filtered through to QuickBooks. So then that way I can keep track of everything for tax time. I know exactly how much to pay for quarterly taxes. I can send all that information to my accountant, or to, if you use a tax software or anything like that. It just makes it super easy that way to keep track of everything. Now, the important part to remember that is that you want to make sure that all of your income and all of your expenses are only coming in one designated route, or two, in my case, either my business checking account or my business PayPal account. So that way there's no confusion, right? Nothing gets lost in the sauce, basically. It's all coming in or out of one or two channels, and then all gets filtered into your accounting software. And again, in my case, I use QuickBooks. There is a self-employed version, which I use, which makes it super simple to categorize expenses or income, and, it's super easy to use. That's how I do it. I think you can also do that through PayPal Business all by itself until you get to that point where you start to need accounting software. Glowen says, Ken P. retirement is exactly why I'm trying to break into this. Voiceover Van Deen, hey buddy, how you doing? Tea and biscuits? What you having right now? Afternoon, everyone. You're all my company whilst I prepare our tea evening meal. Peppered smoked mackerel in a tomato and olive sauce to be served on pasta for those who need to know. That sounds amazing. Thank you for sharing. Now I'm hungry. Kat says, working from home, it's tempting to change schedule around the weather, or with weather, as well as noise, because it's already 85 at 9 a.m. I feel you. It's probably the same here in Phoenix. What is it currently? It's 92 degrees here in Phoenix, and it's 9:21 a.m. It's going to be hot today. So I had to go outside earlier for watering, etc. Yeah, in terms of when to record voiceover, keep in mind that everybody's situation is going to be different, because we all have different responsibilities, schedules, availability times. And then you also have to factor in, like, if you have traffic outside your house, usually at a particular time, or something that happens around the same time every day or a certain day. Like in my case, I have landscapers that come every Thursday for the community to trim trees, to cut the grass, that sort of thing. So I sort of have to schedule everything that needs to be recorded around the times that I know it's going to be impossible to record. So usually on Thursdays when the landscapers come around, I have to try to get everything recorded earlier in the morning before they arrive, or wait until after they're gone in the late afternoon. Or if it can wait till the next day, then I'll have to wait till the next day, and then just edit on Thursdays, the days that I can't record, right? So everybody's schedules and situations are going to be a little bit different, but just do what works for you. So as soon as you start deciding to work from home, start to take note of those days. Start to take note of when you have quiet. Now, of course, you're going to have weather and things that you just cannot predict that are going to happen. There's an airplane flying overhead, or, in the summer months when the air conditioner is on, you can kind of get an idea when that's going to happen. If you hear the HVAC on, you're not going to be able to record because it's going to be too loud, right? Just side note, if you're just starting voiceover and you're just starting to record stuff, if you hear an airplane overhead, don't keep recording. Stop, let the airplane go by, and then restart the recording. Same thing with the trash trucks, any kind of noise that you can audibly hear. Stop recording and then re-record, because trust me, it's going to be you're going to have a much better quality recording than trying to remove that stuff later out of your voice in post. So you're better off just waiting. You're better off just letting whatever the noise is pass and then recording later. Now, for those of you, much like myself, where we live in places where the air conditioner is on all the time or the heater is on all the time, I have it's a programmable thermostat. I have a Nest, so I can control it from my phone with the app. So if I need to get something recorded and the air conditioner's on, I can just go to the app on my phone and turn the air conditioner off for just a couple of minutes, however long. Or if you know you have a lot of recording happening, you can do a full cool down of the house with your app. And then once it's done, get all the recording that you can get done, and then turn it back on, right? There's usually a solution to most problems if you just sit and think about it. Or if you have access to a group that you can ask questions. Of course, as we always say, join groups. It's the best thing you can do, especially in the beginning. Join peer groups, workshops, mentorship programs, whatever it is. That way you have access to other people that can answer voiceover or audiobook narration specific questions, who understand where you are, where you've been, where you're going, and how to help you. Not only for the business side, but for your own, personal well-being. You'll have other people that understand what you're going through and will celebrate because they get it. They get why you're celebrating and will celebrate with you. Super important, because voiceover can be a very isolating endeavor, right? You're by yourself talking to yourself. So it's fantastic to have friends to share that with and to talk to and ask questions of. And I'm on another tangent. You guys need to I need to have a stop sign emoji or something where you guys go okay, all right. Hang on, we had a super chat. Hang on, I'm coming. See, I was so deep in that tangent. Thank you, Janelle. You're such a sweetheart. Thank you. You and the group are the best. Yep, Janelle is one of my platinum members, and she is fantastic. Such a gorgeous voice, too. Very talented. She's very talented. And then I lost my place. Thank you for the super chat, Janelle. I appreciate you. And Fritz is here. Morning to you, ma'am. Morning. I think my biggest challenge is working around my spouse's schedule, who also works from home and is on Microsoft Teams meetings. Small space, no recording while he's in meetings. That can definitely be a challenge. You might have to alternate your schedules a bit. That could be a double-edged sword, really, because, from my perspective, if you're wanting to spend more time with your spouse, and the whole point of working from home and to doing this, or you're maybe even a smaller part of your why is to spend more time with him, and then working at the same time so you can spend the same time together in the afternoons or evenings, but he's making noise all day, it's going to be a little bit of a challenge. I'm guessing there's no other room that you could utilize a little bit further away from him, or ask him to talk very quietly. I don't know. That could definitely be a challenge for sure. The only other alternate I see is to perhaps shift your schedules a little bit. You might have to get up a little bit earlier, perhaps, maybe earlier than he is in the office, and get the recording done that you need to get done. If anybody else has any other tips for Anne, share them. Rebecca says, happy Tuesday all. I get tripped up when family thinks I'm just always available because I work my own hours, when in reality I've been warming up to record, deadlines due, emails to send. I feel you. I feel you. Yes, technically you are available if you want to be available, but you might, in the beginning especially, put your foot down and say, nope, these are my business hours. I can be available for an occasional, lunch or something like that, but for the most part, 9 to 5, Monday through Friday. These are my work hours, and expect me to be working. That's what I did, and it really helped me. It helped me mentally and for everyone else around me to understand that I'm treating it as a business, because it is. You have to have that mindset. This is a business and treat it as such, right? It's tricky. Caesar says, I have a customized spreadsheet. Dwight helped me to get it going, and I made a few adjustments to accommodate my client types, project types, and so on. You're right in that time zones are a challenge. I bet they are. I bet they are. So do you use Google, like Google Sheets, or like an Excel spreadsheet? What did you use, Caesar? I would imagine Google Sheets would be easier to use from desktop to your mobile device, so you can stay on top of everything all at one time. Although if you have Microsoft Office, so then you have Excel, you could also use that on your phone as well. So I guess it just comes down to whatever's easiest for you, whichever way that you want to do that. But just out of curiosity, what are you using for your spreadsheets, Caesar? Sean says, I work full-time for a beer company and average 11-hour days. Have to take a break over the summer since it's our busiest times. It should slow down after July 4th. I bet. Everybody needs them beers for Independence Day. Yeah. Caesar says, I run all my life errands in the day, and I usually have to knock my body back into shape after compensating with copious amounts of coffee. I also forgot to mention that I'm on top of VO. I'm a web developer. On top of VO, I'm a web developer. Yeah, you got a lot on your plate, Caesar. You definitely have a lot on your plate. Jim's here. Hey, Jim. Morning from Memphis. Jim says, on your survey, I am equal parts on the first and 3, which was managing work schedules and work-life balance. Tanya says, hey, evening all. Sorry I'm late. I brought enough donuts for everyone. Late because I was editing an audition fitting the topic. Awesome. Let us know if you get it. David says hello from Hamilton, Ontario. Hello to you, David. Jim says, I remember it being New York City, specifically the Bowery. Voiceover Van Deen says, my wall planner, desk diary, and Post-its on my screen are all my go-tos. If I can't see something glaring me in the face, it doesn't always exist. I even need to keep the diary open. And that's why I like the planner that I have chosen to use, because it's open on my desk, in my face. It's right where, it's like right underneath where my right hand is, because I'm right-handed. That way I can jot down notes. I can see at a glance quickly what needs to be done. It's in my face, but that doesn't always work for other people. To Voiceover Van Deen's point, if you need something larger in your face, Post-its are great for that, to remember little things. If you need to put them on your monitor. It's even great to write yourself notes, encourage yourself, put an affirmation on it. I'm telling you, mindset is everything. Or if you need to have a wall calendar or like a whiteboard, like a vision board, if you're a person that needs that in your face that you can see at a glance and change at a glance, then do that. My only fear with like a whiteboard or something on the wall in my space is because this room is so small, I was afraid of reflection or echo for this big wall calendar or this whiteboard to create echo in my room, since this room is so small. So the solution for me was the paper desk planner that I have, the agenda planner thing that I have on my desk. It's not hard to miss, but really it just comes down to whatever works best for you to keep track and on top of things. Or if you're someone who likes the spreadsheets and things, I mean, I'm one of those people that thrives in like organized chaos. So if you are a spreadsheet person, then maybe voice over view, something like that would work for you, that you could keep open on your desktop or on a monitor if you have several monitors. Really, there isn't a right or wrong way to do it, just whatever works best for you to keep track of things. You've got options. Maven says, hello, everyone. I appreciate being here in this informative, helpful, and supportive space. Heck yeah. Heck yeah. That's what we have here. Glowen says to VoiceOver Vandine, I just started a new diary spreadsheet to start organizing my time. It's probably one of the best things that I did for myself. In the beginning, setting those business hours for myself, and then getting myself the planner that I have. Because before that, I was like, oh my gosh, how do I remember all of these things? Because as a voice actor, you have all of these different avenues to find work. You have all of these different avenues. So how do you keep track of this project that you're working on, let's just say on Upwork, and then you have another project you're in the middle of on Fiverr, and then perhaps maybe another project you're in the middle of on ACX or elsewhere, or several other different platforms. How do you stay on top of where you're at on each different project, on each different platform? Well, again, for me, on my agenda planner, I'll write down, record chapters 1 through 3 for this book. And I know this book is for ACX. Or if you need to even specify, for this book on ACX. And then record this meditation on Fiverr. You know what I mean? You can write all of that stuff down. Or, again, if you're a spreadsheet person, you can put those things in a spreadsheet. However best works for you. And the way that your brain works is, again, there's not really a right way to do it. But you have options. Jim says, is anybody of an age to remember a comedy called The Bowery Boys? Yes. Glowen says, since I'm an early riser due to a full-time job, I may start getting up an extra hour early in the AM to do auditions. I mean, it wouldn't be a bad thing. The only thing to keep in mind is that if you're getting up earlier, you might have to spend a little bit of that time getting warmed up prior to, right? So if you're thinking of getting up an extra hour, 15, 20 minutes of that is going to be warming up, getting out the morning gunk, so to speak, getting warmed up, get the face warmed up. So then in essence, you have maybe, 30 minutes to actually record, right? But definitely doable. I mean, you got to do what you got to do. But just be careful with sacrificing sleep time or, pushing yourself too hard. You don't want to do that either. Caesar says that's 13, 14 hours per day at the moment. I can't imagine a 14-hour work week. I have a lot of passions and interests. I didn't really think that was 14 hours a week, but I just wanted to be clear that that's a heck of a long day, Caesar. Old Dog New Trick says, weekdays, I leave my house at 6 a.m. for work, get home around 5, start this work around 8:30, and typically go for 3-ish hours. That was kind of my life prior to doing this. That was pretty close. Although I got home more closer to probably 6. So 12 hours I was gone from the house. Yep. Weekends, I try to spend 3 to 4 hours both days, typically in the evening. Yep. That was pretty much what I did too. Maybe more sometimes. I mean, every once in a while I had a Saturday or a Sunday that I would spend almost the bulk of the day working, but then the evening I was available for the family. It just depended on what was going on that weekend, You had to get it in where you can fit it in, right? Paul says, hi, Angela et al. Just done a few sums, and I reckon I do around 30 hours per week on work-related activities. VO is my retirement job, so if I want a week off, it's no problem. I like it. Jim says, it always tickles me to see a request for an American voice. What is that? Just like a general American accent? Like mine? Like yours? 82 degrees in Memphis now. Yeah, but you guys get more humidity. I mean, Arizona's a dry heat. I'm sure it's a little stickier there, right? Glowen says to Jem, I always assume that there are not looking for UK, South African, Australian type accents. So as a Canadian, I just assume I can try to sneak in. Heck yeah, you can. I mean, that's the great thing about a general American accent. Or even just if they're just say American accent, because it could be, like a mishmash of all kinds of things. And it could be that your voice or your accent is just different enough. It could be the reason you get hired. So I would. Tanya says, I'm finding I get a lot of mission creep, getting sucked into getting auditions just right or sidetracked by some research, etc. before I know it's 9 p.m. That happens to me every once in a while too. That I'll get sucked into a rabbit hole or I will get sidetracked by, like I have a mission, much like you. You have a mission for one thing and then you see something interesting and then, you go down that rabbit hole. I find myself doing that too. But I don't fault myself for it because it's more information. It's more information than I had previous to that rabbit hole, right? It's not really time suck. Because you're still learning something. I mean, chances are that you're still learning, that in that process, you're finding that there's perhaps a new trend, that you're learning about new opportunities. I mean, it's not, I don't see it. Sorry, I just got a funny text. I don't see it as time suck. I see it as opportunity for growth and for learning, right? I mean, you're not necessarily productive, but it's not complete time loss, right? You're still learning something. That's how I see that, Tanya. Don't fault yourself for that. Yes, there are all kinds of accents in this country. You are not wrong, Jim. Caesar says all countries have all kinds of accents. There are several Italian accents, several Spanish, several Irish, several UK. A general accent is what it is most commonly perceived by the world. Yep. Jules, how you doing? You getting your nails done? You getting your nails did? Did you notice that this was actually your idea? The topic for today was your idea. What color you're getting your nails done? Tanya says, no amount of insulation can stop me hearing my partner's cough. It could cut through steel, but I don't hear him much when he's in meetings. Yeah, I mean, I think in that case, if I was in the middle of recording and I heard him cough, then I would just have to let him finish and then restart. I mean, it makes editing, or even like if you're doing punch and roll, it could make it very long and tedious. But I mean, it kind of is what it is, right? Yeah, it kind of is what it is. I mean, being a voice actor, I've learned to exercise a lot of patience. And for an Aries, that's tough. We don't have any. It's either go or stop for an Aries. So having to wait for an airplane to fly past overhead, or if the kids are at the playground, again, if you don't know, I have a playground that's like 15 feet outside my studio door. I mean, it was a good idea at the time when I bought the house, but it is what it is now. So if the kids are out there playing, then I know that I can't record. So I have to stop wherever I'm at and let them play for an hour or two. And then maybe myself, I can either sit here and edit while they're playing, or I can go do some laundry, or I can just do something else. Maybe it's the universe telling me that I need a break. Whichever way you want to look at it. But exercising patience is definitely something that I have learned. Is that I gotta wait. You don't have a choice. Caesar says, I use Google Sheets as I enjoy having my information in the cloud and readily accessible on the go. I could use 365, that's Office 365 for those of you that don't know, but I'm just used to the Google Workspace. I only need enough to manage my tasks. And I mean, Google, as a brand new business owner, Google makes it really super simple to have everything in one place, because if you think about it, if you start a new business, the easiest way to have an email address is just to create yourself a Gmail address. Right? It's really easy to do. It takes only just a matter of minutes to create a Google email address for yourself or a Gmail address. And then once you have that Google account, you'll have access to docs, spreadsheets, Drive. I mean, Google is a great tool if you don't already use it. Explore it. If you are in that place where you don't have a business address, you definitely want a separate business email address for your business. That way you can start to keep the line between your personal life and your business life separate. So that's probably one of the first things that you want to do is when you have got to the point where you've figured out what name you're going to go by, or if you're going to use a business name, then at that point, create your Gmail address. I mean, you could probably always change it later, get a different Gmail address, but that's a whole lot of frustration you don't want. So if you have an idea of what you want to go by, then create that Gmail address and then utilize that Google account. I mean, it's got a lot of great features that you can use for free. I mean, you can always buy more storage if you need to in Drive and things like that, more functionality, but there's a lot available to you with just a free Google account. So definitely check it out. Jim says Arizonians have a time switch issue. From early November to early March, they're on Pacific time. March, November, it's Mountain time. Yes, we do. With daylight savings, everybody's time switches around us. Our time stays the same. So then, in essence, my weekly lives here on YouTube are an hour earlier for me. And then, later in the fall. So, I don't know. Maybe we're just special. Anne says to Tanya, oh, I hear you. Throat clearing by my spouse is a kicker. I mean, you can always kick him out of the house for a little while. Like, here's the car keys. Go play golf, or go send him on a scavenger hunt or something. I mean, shopping list or something. Give him something to do. Send him outside. Wash the cars. Something. Leslie says, Anne, I have the same issue. In some libraries, there are quiet rooms that are available, which are sound treated and open to the public, and record in the car works too. She's not wrong. In a pinch, I have seen lots of voice actors utilize their car to record auditions, audiobooks, and just work from their car, from their vehicles. If you think about, and something you should have anyway as a voice actor, especially if you like to go on vacations and you plan to be gone for, more than a few days and you want to be accessible and available for work while you're on the go, you should consider having a travel rig. Now, for me, I have one of those Hero recording devices that is sort of like a travel interface. You can plug your mic into it, or you can plug an SD card into it and record onto that, or connect it directly into a laptop, which is what I do, and then use it as a mobile interface. And I take my microphone with me. You can do that, but you can also do that in your car. So if you have like one of those sunscreens, you could put that on the windshield so it doesn't reflect. And then, because cars are pretty insulated, right, for noise. They don't want the drivers inside to hear a whole lot of road noise. So on the same token, it's pretty sound isolated. So in a pinch, you could record in your car. I've known a lot of people to do that. Jules says, I did. There's space like blue, purple. You're going to have to show them to me. Send me a picture. Glowen says, back to work. Already missed the last 10 minutes. Have a great day all. Don't forget to gently tap that thumbs up to help Angela's algorithm. Yes, please do all the YouTube-y things. I appreciate you. Oh, by the way, my channel just hit 38,000 subscribers. Thank you so much for that. I am still so humbled by all of the people that watch my content. I appreciate that. I really do. I really do. It's still my inner introvert screams, and I'm probably going to blush a bit because it's just weird knowing that many people watch my content. But honestly, thank you. So yes, for this video, do all the YouTubey things, subscribe, like it, share it, notify bell, all the things. Okay, moving on. Jim says, editing is a grueling exercise with all the concentration. I work on a project as long as I can, then go exercise, do kitchen work, etc. Yes, and as I always say, as someone's outside honking, as I always say, allow yourself time for breaks. If you have to put break time in your schedule, then do that too. If you're someone who just kind of loses themselves down the rabbit hole, like we've mentioned before, schedule some time for breaks in your Google Calendar so it pops up as a reminder, perhaps. But I allow myself about 2 to 3 hours max of sitting in this chair, and then I get up for an hour and go eat. I'll go do laundry, I'll go run errands, I'll go do something else so I'm active and not just sitting here. It's good for your body. Go to the gym, whatever it is. It's good for you mentally and physically to not just sit for hours and hours and hours. I'm looking at you, Caesar. So give yourself a break every couple of hours and go do something else. It's a good reset for your mind and body. And hydrate. Hydrate. Drink your water, people. Kat says 38K. That is definitely worth a yowza. That's for sure. Yes. We just hit, was it 38,006, I believe it was this morning. It's amazing. It's amazing. Yes. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, it's insane. It really is. Let's take a look over at the poll really quick. We're at 41 votes. And again, the poll question was, which do you struggle with the most? It looks like it's still holding pretty strong with the work-life balance being the most struggled with issue. And then managing work schedules is 34%. Keeping track of clients and managing income. You guys are on top of that, so that's cool. The work-life balance is, I think, something that just comes with time, right? Once you start this business and you start to see like the patterns of when you just get into the office, you get done with all your correspondence, and then perhaps go take a break. And then when you get back and your voice is warmed up by that point, then you can start doing a recording. I mean, once you start to get into this, you'll start to notice the patterns and the blocks of time that you have available to do certain things, right? It's sort of like a normal workday when you were employed by someone else. You come in and you have like certain times and days that you do things. It's the same thing with voiceover. You shall start to see those patterns, but don't forget to take breaks. Schedule them in if you have to. Schedule them in if you have to. And then you'll start to see days that are probably a little less busy or days that you just can't work at all. Like maybe like for me, when the landscapers are here, I can't record at all because they're just too loud for like 5 hours. If I don't have anything to edit, then that's my opportunity to either work on something else or I can go take my son to a movie if it's the summertime. You know, it's kind of up to you, but you'll start to see those patterns and you'll start to see how you can better balance out those things. It'll come with time. Jim says, be glad that you are helping that many people. Yeah, I know. You know what the funny thing is that I've noticed when I look through the YouTube analytics, only 30-something% of people have actually subscribed. So there's actually a lot more people who watch my content. They just don't subscribe. So 38,000 people have actually subscribed, but 60-something% of them have not. So a lot more people are actually watching my content, but not doing the YouTubey things. So that makes my inner introvert scream even louder. But you're right, Jim. I'm glad. I mean, that was the whole purpose of this channel, was to pay it forward and just to share knowledge, and then it turned into a community. And then for that, I'm grateful, because it not only has helped me, but apparently it's helping you guys too. So I'm very glad and thankful for that. Tanya says, my youngest was home for a few weeks and I hardly saw him because of deadlines. I need balance. And sometimes those deadlines you're not going to be able to control, right? I mean, you know when the kiddos are coming home from school, you have a time frame for that. But if you're offered a large project just before and that deadline falls within that time, that's going to be up to you to accept that project or not, knowing that you may not be available during that time when the kiddos are home, right? So, I mean, you have all of these time frames available to you. It's just a matter of scheduling them appropriately, so that way you do have time. Like I said earlier in the beginning of this live chat, was I can take a vacation. I can take a couple days out, and go out of town for the weekend, as long as I have at least a week's notice. I'd say at the very minimum, maybe 4 or 5 days. That way I can get everything due during that weekend I want to be gone, done before I leave, and any incoming clients to let them know that, if it's a shorter time frame for the job, I might not be able to get that done. But if they can wait, an extra couple of days, then yes, I can take on that project. So it's really just having the timelines available, or the timelines that you need to work around in your face, AKA with a calendar or an agenda planner or whatever it is, and scheduling those things in appropriately. It takes a little bit of practice, but it's something that really needs to be incorporated for a business. And then to also have that personal time available to you. Yes. Yay. Yes, I can't believe that. It's so crazy. Kat says, as well as scheduling break time, schedule in a bit of surprise time for that thing that randomly pops up during your day. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that comes up too. Yeah. But, surprise time could be during break time, could be a break time if it comes up. Leslie says, Tanya, it is such a challenge. Balance is one of my 4-letter words. And believe me, it comes with time. It comes with time. Everything feels like it's up in the air and your hair's on fire and it's chaotic and everything's crazy in the beginning and there's loose ends everywhere and you're starting to lose track of things. But if you start incorporating some of these tools, they will help, right? As I said before, figure out which way of keeping track of projects and timelines works best for you, whether that be on a Google Calendar, which also you could, have it notify you on your phone. So if you're out and about, you get a notification saying, hey, this is what we're doing in an hour, or it's upcoming in 10 minutes or whatever it is. If you're a sheet person, check out Google Sheets or Voice Over View, right, to keep track of things. Or if you're in your studio and you have a day planner on your desk or on your wall or whatever it is, start writing these things down. Start writing down days where, like for me on Thursdays, where the landscapers are here from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. or whatever it is, then you can't record during that time. So if you have a client that says, Thursday morning, hey, could you do this within 3 hours? And it's in the middle of the time slot where the landscapers are due to come in, then probably not, right? So pick one of these tools that's going to work best for you and start making note of these things. And that way it'll start to come together, and then you'll start to see patterns where I usually have a little bit of time on Mondays at this time to this time that I can be available to go do something else, go run an errand or whatever it is, but start to make note of these things early and make that a habit, and it'll start to come together, and then it'll start to balance out. Voiceover Van Deen says, you've got to get up and move around. It was 2 years last month since I survived a DVT, which caused a bilateral pulmonary embolism. Oh my gosh. I'd pulled an all-weekender at my desk, split work between work and play. Wow. There you go. Move around, people. Go to the gym. Go for a walk, even. Just go for a walk. Yep. Yep, not only is voiceover a lonely endeavor, but it's also, you're sitting, or even if you're a stander, you're just standing, right, in one place. You're not really moving around. So if you can't get out of the house, or would at least get one of those vibration plates that you've probably seen on social media. I have one of those too. I stand on that and do that a lot, right? It gets the circulation going. But then I also go to the gym, I kickbox, I'm pretty active for my age, and that's on purpose. Because I sit a lot, Because when I was employed, when I was in the automotive industry, I had a very active job. I walked like 13 miles a day with that job. So now I'm walking a whole lot less. So I had to go to the gym, and I incorporated kickboxing as well. And perhaps even jujitsu here in the near future. So that'll be fun. So you might see me bruised more often, more than I already am. I'm already bruised a little bit from kickboxing and stuff. Oh my gosh, we're going off on tangents. Okay. Caesar says, my gosh, did it hurt? I'm sure it did. All right. Well, you guys, if you have something that you guys want to talk about, again, these weekly chats are for you. So please tell me what you want to talk about. If there's something specific you want to ask me about, or you want to learn more about, or get multiple opinions from all the different people that join the chat every week, then please put them in the comments. And again, do all the YouTube-y things to this video. If you're watching this in Team Replay, please consider subscribing, hit the like button, hit the share button, share it with all of your voiceover friends. They can become part of the family here too. And hit the notification bell so you're notified, every time I make new content, so on and so forth. It's always weird saying that stuff, but you have to. But anyway, until next time, stay organized. That work-life balance will come. I promise you, if you just start keeping note of these things and scheduling things appropriately, it will come. But until next week, I'll see you guys then. Bye. Thank you for listening to She Lancer Mom Entrepreneur with VoiceOver Angela. That's me. For more information about me, visit my website, voiceoverangela.com, or hop on over to my YouTube channel, VoiceOver Angela. Again, thanks for listening. Have a great day.